OBS crashed. Thank you. OBS crashed. I don't know why. Yeah, dead. I died. I died. Had an OBS crash.
Failure.
No. There go all the viewers. There go all the lurkers.
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
I never left Stupid Town. I live in Stupid Town, and I'll never escape Stupid Town. Ah! That's so annoying. Ah! Ah! Man, that sucks. Oh, that's a real big hit to the motivation, ain't it?
Stepped up to the challenge by teaching a generation how to address the topic and many others. The show taught children to recognize their similarities and celebrate their uniqueness, not just in broad strokes, but with ultra-specific and ultra-authentic conflict. The show admitted that navigating race, ethnicity, religion, culture, and gender could be a complex puzzle, but one that could be solved with kindness, understanding, and love. And for many children growing up with the show, they found hope and comfort that no matter their background, there would always be a place where they could be accepted and celebrated. The Puzzle Place.
Hygiene stretch.
Defunct TV
Okay.
is brought to you by Privacy.com. Protect your financial information and easily manage your subscriptions at Privacy.com/defunctland. On November 10, 1969, Sesame Street debuted on the National Education Television Network. The show prominently featured a cast of Muppet characters from puppeteer Jim Henson. Henson's style of puppetry, with simplistic designs and felt-like materials, was quickly becoming the standard for puppets in broadcast television. However, just 3 days before Sesame Street's debut, the Canadian broadcasting network CBC Television had debuted a brand new puppet show of their own with a very different style. The show, named Hi Diddle Day, utilized the puppets of Noreen Young, a puppeteer who, along with her husband Brig, developed a unique puppet creation process that applied liquid rubber and dye to plasticine sculptures of modeled faces. The two already had a cast of characters built for TV appearances, birthday
They're
parties,
so
and
ugly.
puppetry classes that would be utilized by Hi Diddle Day. The cast featured the adolescent dragon, Durwood, the immigrant bird, Chico Crow, the investigative basset hound, Basil, a wolf, Wolfgang von Wolf, The town mayor, Gertrude Diddle,
The humans are
swinging
ugly.
geriatric, Granny Diddle,
The
and Baby
creatures
Schwartz.
are nice looking.
Noreen's success in puppetry led her to form Noreen Young Productions to develop live events and
Alright,
television
those ones
shows.
don't look as
This
bad.
led to another series with CBC named Pencil Box, in which students from Ottawa would submit stories that would be acted out. The series, which premiered in 1976, again included a variety of Young's puppets, along with live actors, elaborate sets, and television effects which brought the children's stories to life.
When Sam had his bath and was dry, he saw Bonnie. And now, Bonnie and Sam have puppies of their own.
Oh, puppies!
The show's main cast of puppets included Bolo Bat, Webster the Dictionary, Stubby Pencil, Miffy Skunk, and Clara Cactus. Pencil Box was a hit for CBC, and it was also cheap to produce with a budget of around $2,300 per episode. However, the program was plagued with legal concerns, as some of the children submitting stories had plagiarized them from other sources, resulting in copyrighted works being performed on the show. This would eventually lead to Pencil Box being canceled in
Fucking
1979, but it would not be long until Young was pitching her next puppet show. Her next idea was a children's sitcom which would center around a young artist and her animal roommates who would all live in a house under a large umbrella tree, to be called Under the Umbrella Tree. The CBC initially passed on the show, and Young looked elsewhere to fund the project. At the same time, she continued to contribute puppets to other shows. TV Ontario children's show Today's Special utilized Muffy Mouse, a puppet Young originally built to be a main character on Under the Umbrella Tree. This would be the first time most US audiences would be exposed to Young's work, as Today's Special would become a staple of the then young children's network Nickelodeon. In 1983, Noreen and Brig Young purchased an 84-acre property 50 kilometers west of Ottawa in Almont. They would build a 3,600-square-foot workshop and studio on the property, where Noreen made and stored her ever-growing collection of puppets. Noreen even shot smaller productions at the home studio and continued to support her company through safety and educational videos.
I know
For the
that's
French
not
language
right,
instructional series
and that this
Téléfrancais,
is actually
Young
the
built and
left head,
puppeteered Ananas, a
this is
French-speaking
actually the right
pineapple
head.
whose name translated to pineapple.
but I don't
Je
care.
suis un ananas.
As more Canadian productions were bought for U.S. distribution, Noreen Young continued pitching projects to CBC, TV Ontario, Nickelodeon, and the Disney Channel. Working with Ken Sobel, a writer on Téléfrancais, as well as the educational series Read Along, the pair developed stories for different pilots, including a series that would recycle the Bolo Bat puppet from Pencil Box. Throughout all of these shows, Young continued pitching Under the Umbrella Tree. In the spring of 1986, she would enlist her puppeteer friends and collaborators to shoot a pilot episode for the show. For Umbrella Tree's human roommate, Young recruited Pencil Box performer Holly LaRock. LaRock, a talented actress, singer, and dancer, was the perfect choice for the character, who would be named Holly Higgins. For the three main puppets, Noreen Young recruited her brother, Stephen Brathwaite, to perform a blue jay named Jacob Blue. Bob Stutt, a performer who worked on Fraggle Rock and Today's Special, was recruited to play the fun-loving green lizard, Iggy Iguana. Noreen Young herself would play the pig-tailed Gloria Gopher. The pilot effectively showcased the likable, fun characters and sitcom style, but the CBC could not greenlight the show until it found funding. It would not be until Young would secure additional production funds from Telefilm Canada that CBC would greenlight the show for 70 15-minute episodes. CBC Ottawa provided the studio space, equipment, and crew for the episodes. The budget was 15,000 Canadian dollars per episode, a fraction of the 350,000 Canadian dollars Puppet Show Fraggle Rock spent on their episodes at the time. Production on Season 1 of Under the Umbrella Tree began in June of 1987. The show's home interior sets were built in a garage near CBC Ottawa, which was converted to a studio. Puppeteers knelt and squatted in modular floor sections and breakaway stairs to perform their characters along with Holly. The new show was slated to replace a CBC staple, The Friendly Giant, a children's show that had an incredible 28-year run. The 15-minute Under the Umbrella Tree episodes would air Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10:15 a.m., with the show's first episode premiering on October 5th, 1987, to the delight of children throughout Canada.
Do you ever wonder what could happen under an umbrella tree? Sunny days of thunder, your friends are waiting under the umbrella tree.
Early episodes of the series featured a pink title graphic with the show's logo, which would fade to the beginning of the episode. In one Season 1 episode, Holly struggles to bring in a large box from outside. After eventually getting it set in place, Jacob the Blue Jay and Iggy the Iguana arrive and ask Holly about the box.
What is that?
Oh, it's a box, Jacob. It's a box.
Well, I know it's a box, but what's in it?
Holly explains that it's an exercycle, a special kind of bicycle that doesn't go anywhere and is used for exercise. Iggy invites Holly out to play baseball with him and Jacob, but she passes on the invitation, choosing instead to set up her new bike. After building the bike, Gloria the gopher swings by to see the result.
Hi, Holly.
Hi, Gloria.
What's this?
This is my new exercycle. Let me show you how it works.
Holly leaves to get her exercise clothes, and Gloria inspects the bike, adjusting the knobs inquisitively. When Holly returns, Gloria and Holly do some warm-up exercises, including stretching, toe touches, and push-ups.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
Gloria?
15. Yes? That's enough.
After warming up, Holly begins to sing a song about fitness, which the pair dance and exercise to.
On your mark, get ready. All set, raring to go. Grab a new attitude, wanna get in tune from your head down to your toes.
After the song, Holly attempts her maiden voyage on the new exercycle, a ride that ends up being tremendously difficult as a result of Gloria's earlier absent-minded tampering.
Ah! Gloria! Hold on!
I'll stop you.
Don't let go!
Oh my goodness.
After changing the setting, Holly is able to ride the new bike as intended, and she does so until she grows tired and sore. The episode ends with Jacob and Iggy returning from playing baseball and Holly lying on the couch unable to move.
Is she lying down? Well, no, not exactly. It's more like she's laid up. Yeah.
This was the typical format and style of the series. Instead of focusing on education, Under the Umbrella Tree was a sitcom first, and any morals or lessons taught were purposefully simple.
No. What I mean is that even though a lot of these things belong to me, we can all use them. It's called sharing.
Barbara Shernan, a publicist for the CBC, described the show at the time, quote, "This is a situational comedy for children. They get to see what happens to Holly in her everyday life, and that helps them
Is that
understand
what
adults in
sitcom
their own
stands
lives."
for?
For this reason, the show quickly appealed to Canadian kids and adults, who enjoyed the funny characters and comedic sitcom-style antics. The series captured an impressive 85% share of
sitcom
its
short
target
for
2 to 11-year-old
situational
audience
comedy?
within just 2 weeks of its premiere. Under the
I
Umbrella Tree did not reveal much about its character's
realized
origins
that
until the
till just
flashback
now.
episode, How It All Began, which told the story of how Gloria, Jacob, and Iggy became roommates. The episode begins with Holly and Jacob talking about how much they love the apartment in which they live. Jacob recalls what it was like to live in the house as everyone moved in.
I never thought of that before.
I did, but I knew I didn't want to live alone, so I invited Iggy and Gloria to move in.
Gloria recounts the first time she saw the apartment. Impressed by the giant tree in the living room, Gloria believed she had found the perfect spot to burrow a small place for herself. Before agreeing to stay in the apartment,
I never
Gloria
thought
needed
about
to
it
meet
before.
Jacob's friend Iggy, whom Jacob had invited to become a third roommate in the house.
Hiya, Jake. Hey, what a great apartment. I love it already. This is great.
Iggy introduced himself to Gloria, but his awkward coughing and cheesy jokes were a little off-putting to the young gopher.
Say, Gloria, what's that on your shirt?
Where?
There.
The three planned to sleep over that night to test whether or not they would be compatible roommates. Gloria's need to go to bed early immediately conflicted with Iggy's late-night musical performances and roller skating relay races. In the morning, Iggy was woken by Gloria singing as she made pancakes in the kitchen.
You should try to go to bed earlier like I do.
Well, at least I don't sing at breakfast.
Yeah.
The two potential roommates fought about their conflicting schedules and determined that the apartment was not big enough for 3 occupants. Jacob's 2 friends told him to decide who was going to stay, and both were surprised when Jacob's choice left them together in the apartment while he moved to the park outside. The noble gesture weighed heavily on Gloria and Iggy as a storm brewed outside the home. After talking about the nice things Jacob does and how he's a great friend to both of them, Gloria and Iggy warmed up to each other.
And you know, Gloria, I guess any friend of Jacob's can't be all bad.
When Jacob returned to the house to get out of the rain, the trio decided there was enough room in the home for all 3 of them, and later added Holly as a roommate as well. The episode ended with Holly leading the group in a song about Jacob.
Jacob, Blue Jay, where you going today?
While not every episode had a musical number, many episodes featured original songs written by Bob Salsey. The series frequently tapped Holly LaRock's impressive singing and dancing talents for the songs.
I love to sing, I love to dance, try something different, take a chance. I like to think that I'm special.
Despite the cramped studio space, the home within the show appeared quite large.
It's a
It
small
included a
underworld.
variety
Oh,
of
Agent
rides. At the
Awasi,
start of each
hello.
episode, a model
Thank you so
portrayed the
much for the
exterior
raid,
of the large
everybody.
suburban
Welcome,
Ottawa home.
welcome.
The show's living room set was the largest
I
and
am
most frequently
Shanala, the
used location
Cerberus,
on the
3
show.
heads and
The
3
living
brain
room
cells,
housed
and
the
we're
large
working on a little bit of
Schefflera
art tonight.
tree from which the show
Let me
took
get
its
your
name.
shout out.
The living room set also contained a couch, a bookcase, a phone, and stairs leading to
Uh-oh,
multiple
why
doors,
can't I hear it?
including the entrance to the house. The group also frequented the house's kitchen for meals and snacks. The set also featured individual rooms for Holly, Gloria, Iggy, and Jacob, as well as a bathroom, basement, and front porch. The show's fun characters, relatable stories, and creative environments connected with Canadian toddlers. However, despite a successful 70-episode first season, a second season was not
Why
guaranteed.
couldn't I hear that?
Telefilm Canada was suffering financial problems at the time and could not immediately commit funds to another season. Luckily, in March of 1988, 6 months after the series premiered, Telefilm was able to contribute enough money to renew Under the Umbrella
Hello,
Tree for its
hello.
second season. Like season 1, season 2 would consist of 70
How is your
15-minute
stream?
episodes.
How
The
is
series'
Nier
popularity had
Automata?
also spread its reach internationally, with Singapore being the first foreign market to distribute the show. The Disney Channel was also expressing interest in airing episodes throughout the United
Let me pause that for a second.
Hi, doggy.
I can hear that. Why can I hear the Raid movie? Or the Shadow? Monitor only. Monitor only. Why can't I hear it? That's weird. Why can't I hear it? Can I hear other things? I can hear that. But it didn't... Did I not set that up to work with... Do I have to reconnect? Oh, I might have to reconnect, No, I don't have to reconnect Touch Portal. Hide PC face, but it didn't hide it. You can still hear me okay, right? You can hear me and you could hear the video when I was playing it? Yeah, I relaunched Touch Portal.
Shut up, dear furry!
I can hear that one. Why couldn't I hear the shout out? Could you hear that one? Could you all hear the little pop up that just happened when I redeemed Be Quiet Furry? Could you all hear that or no?
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
And you could hear that one too? It's not the same setting. Why can't I hear it? Why is no sound coming from it? That's weird. Yeah, they're set to the same thing. Oh well, maybe next time I restart OBS it'll work.
States, but no deal had been made. Under the Umbrella Tree's popularity domestically continued to grow throughout this time, with Holly LaRock and her puppet roommates occasionally appearing for special performances at shopping centers. The show's second season continued to focus its sitcom shenanigans on common preschooler problems and predicaments. In the episode, The No Power Hour, the gang is in the kitchen making popcorn, cinnamon toast, a banana smoothie, and hot chocolate as it storms outside. Everyone goes to the radio to listen to their favorite show when suddenly the house loses power because of the storm.
Huh? What happened, Hall?
Well,
That's
I don't
weird.
know. Just a minute.
Holly takes the opportunity to teach her trio of friends about electricity and how it is required to power the various kitchen items that they were using.
Just like food gives us energy.
Food?
Uh-huh.
Food gives us the energy to go. Well, electricity is the energy or power that makes all sorts of electrical things go.
After contacting the power company and being told that the storm knocked down the power line, Holly remembers that she has a box in the basement with some neat old stuff from before people had electricity. Holly finds a kerosene lamp in her box of old things. While going through the box,
What do you
the group
mean
plays with the
before
antique clothes
electricity?
and other items. The group pretends to make bread, chop wood, scrub laundry, and milk a cow to churn its butter.
Oh, I like this part.
The four ended their fun by singing a round, in which each character contributed their own verse.
Go. Scrub, scrub, scrub your socks, scrub them nice and clean. Wasn't it fun way back then, back in the olden days?
Their song is interrupted by the power turning back on, and the trio quickly abandon Holly to see if they can still catch their radio program. The program ended as they arrived to the living room, and the group was disappointed to have missed the show. Holly cheered everyone up by reminding them that, with the power back, they could finish making their popcorn, cinnamon toast, banana smoothie, and hot chocolate in the kitchen.
Brought to you by electricity.
Beyond the show's four main characters, additional humans and puppets frequented the Umbrella Tree gang at their home. Many of the main characters' relatives appeared on the show, including Holly's kind mother, performed by Heather Eston.
After all, Holly is my daughter, and you three are my adopted family.
Holly's English entertainer, Uncle Jack, performed by Don Westwood.
But lately things are topsy-turvy, and here's the reason why. Whenever I hear something funny, I just want to cry.
The group's Polish neighbor, who liked to jar pickles, Mr. Pleck.
What's going on here? Gloria, what were you doing in the pickle juice? You're not the
Leg,
secret
hello.
ingredient.
And Holly's identical yet Irish accented cousin, Lorraine, who was also
How
played
was
by
your
Holly
stream?
LaRock.
It's so good to hear your voice.
Hello, Holly. Now, I was hoping you and I'd have a chance to get together before me bike and I fly back to Ireland in the morning.
Iggy's clumsy cousin, Emmett Iguana, also appeared on the show and was performed by Bob Stutt. Many of Noreen Young's trademark animal surnamed characters made
What?
cameos
Smile?
as well, including Louis Bird,
Smile?
Mitzi the dog, Simon the Bat,
Why you
Calvin
smiling
Crow,
at me?
Annette Parakeet, Darlene Swan, Waldo Bunny, Matt and Martha Mice, and the Chickadee family, Chester, Charlene, Chelsea, and Charles.
My face
the gang's
when-
other neighbor,
my
Mrs.
face when
McMurtry,
Leg smiles
was a
at
unique
me.
human puppet performed by Noreen Young. Mrs. McMurtry made many appearances on the show, including in the episode Iggy Moves Out. In this episode, Iggy moves into Mrs. McMurtry's place after being criticized for playing his music too loud, leaving his skateboard on the stairs, and borrowing Jacob's baseball bat without asking.
We just want you to be a little more considerate, that's
Is
all.
something happening?
thoughtful.
Is what I think is happening?
Well, if I'm so awful to live with, maybe I should just move someplace else.
Mrs. McMurtry gives Iggy a taste of his own medicine by being messy and inconsiderate while he stays with her.
I love it. Oh, it's so much fun being messy and inconsiderate. I don't have to think of anyone else, and I owe it all to you.
Later,
yeah.
when Iggy returns home and tells his friends about how bothersome Mrs. McMurtry was behaving, the group reveals that Mrs. McMurtry's actions had been intentionally designed to teach Iggy a lesson about being more considerate, something he was happy to learn by the episode.
Raiders, hello,
From
hello.
now on, I'll pick up my stuff, not borrow things without asking, and play my radio a lot quieter.
No, don't do that. Can you continue being inconsiderate, little lizard? Hello, Leg. Hello, Raiders. Welcome, welcome. If you do not know me already, I am Shinala the Cerberus, 3 heads and 3 brain cells, and I'm working on a little bit of art today. We're actually getting through with a little meme video that I'm redrawing as myself.
And hey,
And this is what we've already done today. We got this pretty much done. It's a little bit of promo art I'm making for our Zillow show coming up. I got Void Taffy, I got Barry the Bugbear, Miss Jackie, and myself. And up in this little corner, up in this window, we're also going to be joined by special guest star Javer. He's Javer. And we're buying his house. Newt, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the Hounds. How you doing? Let me play you a little trailer, everyone. You can check out my channel trailer that I made. So if you don't mind. Yes, sit on me. I'm so happy. What? There's a baby bear, and that must be the mama bear. There's a little baby bear, too. Oh, never mind. We farted. Come here, idiot.
Just punching you. Oh!
I can't believe I dodged all that. Never mind. I'm not gonna mess it up this time. I know what you're saying to yourselves, chat. Isn't this strategy a little unbear? The real tweaks were the friends you made along the way.
Hey pal, you just blowing from stupid down?
Hi, doggy.
Hi, doggy. I forgot I need to add that to the trailer scene so it doesn't play when we switch back. But yes, hello. How was the rest
Hi,
of your
doggy.
stream, Leg? Hi. Puppy time? Okay, I switched to puppy.
Hi, doggy.
Hi. Hello, Leg. Hello, Acidic Stones. Also, let me give you a shout out, Leg. I don't know why the audio
This right
on it.
here
Oh,
is
it's
my
working
favorite
now.
thing
Weird.
ever in the history of forever.
Right
I think
before
about
you
this every
came
day.
in, it
I think
wasn't
about
working.
this all night
but
long. I
now
stay
it worked.
awake, not sleeping, because I'm thinking about this.
I don't know why it's working now. It wasn't working like 10 seconds ago. You had to make a new seed, but we got a lot of good drops. Oh, nice. And here, let me switch over to puppy. Gotta switch to puppy. My aura was enough to fix it. Oh, thank you. You saved me. I am Puppy. I am now Puppy. Look at me go.
Hi, doggy.
Hi, doggy. Hello, Gravity. Hello, Ches Skellington. Gotta look to get some food. Okay. Thank you for the raid. Oh, why is that happening? That shouldn't be happening.
I'll be the perfect roommate.
Along with season 2, the CBC aired the 30-minute special, Christmas Under the Umbrella Tree, on Christmas Eve 1989. The special included a new holiday-themed intro and saw the group partake in various Christmas festivities, including decorating the house, singing Christmas songs, and teaching Holly how to ice skate. The show was quickly renewed for a third season,
You
again
don't say.
utilizing
That's
Telefilm
some very
Canada's
interesting
fund and
wisdom,
CBC's
Dog of
distribution
Wisdom.
studios. The show continued to look for international licensing deals as well. With the show's reputation and success continuing to grow, the Disney Channel was more interested than ever in licensing the program. As its U.S. competitor, Nickelodeon had already snagged hit Canadian-produced shows such as Fred Penner's Place and The Elephant Show for its lineup. Under the Umbrella Tree's low production costs and high production quality was also a huge selling point. The show did eventually reach an agreement with the Disney Channel to broadcast the show to a paying audience. The first 3 seasons of the series were already complete by the time the Disney Channel introduced its viewers to Gloria, Jacob, Iggy,
Chat,
and
do you,
Holly.
do you want to know
debuted
what
on the
Dog of
network
Wisdom
on May 7th,
said?
1990.
Do you want to know
The
Dog
Disney
of Wisdom's
Channel aired the
wisdom?
series every weekday,
It
pairing
said,
2 15-minute
hit that
episodes
follow
together
button.
as a single half-hour block. The series would be renewed for a 4th season, but the same week the show premiered on the Disney
It said
Channel,
it said
production on
follow,
season 4 was
and it
shut
also
down.
said to
The
follow
culprit was
Void
again
Taffy, too.
Telefilm Canada, who had not delivered the production funds that had been agreed upon. An intense weekend of negotiations
crazy,
between
right?
Irene Young and government funders
I
took
can't
place
believe it.
as Young attempted to convince Telefilm Canada to back the remainder of the 4th season. Luckily, an agreement was reached, with one devastating caveat.
I
Telefilm
can't
Canada
believe
would
Dog
back the rest
of
of season
Wisdom's
4,
wisdom
but
was
they
to
made it clear
follow
that they
me
would
and
not
Void
support
Taffy.
a 5th season of the show. Telefilm cited the fact that Under the Umbrella Tree had failed to make a profit in its first 3 seasons. Despite its popularity and international sales, 98% of the show's earnings went to repaying Telefilm. This was mostly due to the CBC barring commercials on children's programming. On top of this, CBC shows were not allowed to merchandise their characters. With Telefilm out and no funding for a 5th season, CBC could not continue their support of the show either. Young, the cast, and crew completed production of Season 4, which would certainly be the show's final season and the last that children would see of Under the Umbrella Tree. However, in a welcome turn of events, Under the Umbrella Tree had proved immensely popular with American audiences, and the Disney Channel desperately wanted more of the show. As a result, Disney agreed to finance a series of seasonal specials. These half-hour episodes covered such topics as Valentine's Day, Back to School, and Mother's Day. Originally planning only 4 specials, Disney eventually ordered 10 in total. In these later specials, more diverse sets and locations were utilized. The ambitious special episode, Baseball Fever, took the group to Jacob's baseball game, complete with a baseball stadium set, baseball teams, and audiences of puppet fans. Holly
Wait, what
umpired
stadium
the
did
game
it say
and
it went
ejected
to?
Jacob after he struck out and argued against her call. When back at the house, the special episode, Baseball Fever, took the group to Jacob's baseball game,
Oh,
complete
no
with a
way.
baseball stadium set, baseball teams, and audiences of puppet fans. Holly umpired the
Wait,
game
was
and ejected
Jacob a
after he
made-up name
struck
for
out
it, or
and
did they
argued
say
against her
Jacob's
call.
Field?
When back at
Or
the
am I
house,
imagining
Jacob imagined
that?
visiting the Toronto Blue Jays stadium and learned lessons in sportsmanship from his baseball hero, Blue Jays outfielder Devin White.
Listen, Jay, the most important thing about sport is doing
Oh
your
my God,
best
that
and having
audio.
fun.
It is?
The team traveled on location to the Sky Dome to shoot the episode at the Blue Jays home stadium. As
Did they
the
say
Under the
Jacob's
Umbrella Tree
Field or
team
am I
continued
mad?
production on the specials, Young kept the characters busy by presenting a series of live Easter Under the Umbrella Tree shows at the Canadian Museum of Civilization. The CBC continued broadcasting Under the Umbrella Tree in reruns until 1993 when their rights expired. Reruns of the show continued broadcasting on the Canadian channel YTV and the Disney Channel. Eventually, Disney stopped ordering new specials, with more than enough Under the Umbrella Tree episodes to rerun indefinitely. Production ceased for the series in March of 1994, and Holly LaRock, Bob Stutt, Stephen Brathwaite, and Noreen Young put on a live farewell performance
Sounded like
of their
Jacob's
characters
Game to me,
to
like the
benefit
character
the
Jacob.
Nepean Kanata
Oh,
Family
okay.
Resource Center. That
That's
June,
less
Noreen
exciting.
Young was named to the Order of Canada for her contributions to the performing arts. The Disney Channel continued to air Under the Umbrella Tree's 270 episodes and 11 half-hour specials in rotation, until the channel switched from ad-free premium cable to commercial basic cable in 1997. Although Disney halted airing the show, they continued holding the broadcast rights for Under the Umbrella Tree until they expired in 2005. After this, Noreen Young assumed full rights to the show. In 2006, Young released 8 DVD volumes of the series. Each DVD contained multiple episodes, and the first 4 also included newly recorded introductions featuring Iggy, Gloria, and Jacob.
I've got to see this!
Noreen Young also continued supporting the puppetry arts through Puppets Up, a festival she organized in her hometown of Almonte, Ontario. Characters from Under the Umbrella Tree and Noreen Young's other works were frequently used to promote the festival over its 12-year run from 2005 to 2017. In 2018, over 30 years after the premiere of Under the Umbrella Tree, Noreen Young made selections from the series officially available on the Canadian YouTube channel Encore Plus. However, despite the DVDs and releases on Encore Plus, much of the series' 270 episodes are considered lost media. In fact, over half, a whopping 140 episodes, cannot be found on DVD, Encore Plus, or through other official and unofficial uploads. That said, as of early 2022, Encore Plus is continuing to release new episodes of the series on the YouTube channel. So many fans hope that one day all episodes of the show will be made
still
available.
making new
While
episodes
fans
of
continue
this?
to search
Or
for
at
the
least
old
at the time
episodes,
of making
they were
these-
surprised with a brand new one. In September of 2020, the cast of Under the Umbrella Tree reunited for a new special to promote the importance of wearing masks during the COVID-19 pandemic. Although
Oh, wow.
shorter than a full episode at less than 5 minutes, the Mask Special, as the episode was named, picked up where the series left off with Gloria, Iggy, and Jacob at the Umbrella Tree house. Holly also returned for the special, although virtually via video chat, as she was self-quarantining at her friend's apartment at the time. Holly and the trio taught the importance of wearing masks, social distancing, and thoroughly washing your hands. Iggy also sang a song he made to keep yourself safe.
Virus, virus, go away. On my hands you cannot stay.
The special recreated
Good
the Umbrella Tree
song.
home through the use of green screen and background images captured from the original episodes. On December 22, 2021, Iggy, Gloria, and Jacob would appear together for a brief holiday video presented on the Encore Plus channel. All of the original performers, Bob Stutt, Noreen Young, and Stephen Brathwaite, returned for the video. These reunion specials are just a small bit of proof of the huge impact that Under the Umbrella Tree had on its audience, both in Canada and around the world. From the start with High Diddle Day, Noreen Young's love for puppetry and the brilliance of her unique art style has been evident, and Under the Umbrella Tree serves as the landmark example of her talent. Despite the limited
two
budget,
thumbs
Young and
way,
the talented
way up.
cast and crew were able to create an iconic
Theodore
and
Firefox,
irreplaceable
thank you so much for
institution of
following.
Canadian
Welcome
children's
to the
television.
Hounds.
To many children,
How
Gloria
you doing?
Gopher, Iggy Iguana, Jacob Bluejay, and Holly Higgins were friends as real as their neighbors next door. With lessons to be learned and fun to be had, the classic sitcom antics of the series showed just what a wonderful time it was to be with friends under the Umbrella Tree. Defunct TV is brought to you by Privacy.com. With Privacy.com's
No
virtual
ads.
cards, you can control your subscriptions and recurring payments like never before.
No, this was the last
This has
episode
really
in
been
the
an incredible
playlist.
tool for us at Defunct TV, as we are constantly signing up for random streaming services to watch niche television shows. And with Privacy, we can put spending limits on the Privacy card.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hey Dan, it's Kevin. I'm taking off on a vacation for a week and I need someone to watch the channel while I'm gone. You can talk about whatever you want. I'll even let you advertise for that magic candle company you like so much. Just tell everyone to use the coupon code DefunctLand for 15% off their order. Anyways, I'll be back in a few days or like 11 minutes. Peace out. Bye.
All right, the Defunctland channel all to myself. And I know just what we're going to talk about. Roll the new intro! In August of 1989, Michael Eisner and Jim Henson announced an exciting new deal that was underway that would bring the Jim Henson Company and its many lucrative properties into the Walt Disney family. This included most of Jim's original creations and franchises like Fraggle Rock, Dark Crystal, and The Labyrinth, but most importantly, The Muppets. Not to be included in this
the
deal,
Muppets.
as they were owned by Children's Television Workshop and not Jim Henson's company, was Sesame Street and its colorful bunch of characters. The deal,
Disney,
valued
yay,
at
Muppets.
approximately $150 million, also included
Hi,
a
Kevin.
special creative services
Kevin.
consulting contract for Jim Henson that would last 15 years, keeping him on board with the Disney company to create more Muppet films
Who's
and
Kevin?
head up new park projects. Negotiations between the companies lasted for nearly a year, with Jim being the leading force behind making the deal happen. It was during these negotiations
someone
in
named
early
Kevin on the-
1990 that Disneyland's president, Jack Lindquist, came up with an ambitious publicity stunt to celebrate the Muppets joining Disney. At the time, Disneyland was celebrating its 35th anniversary with a massive event. Festivities ranged from new parades to a full-length special that aired on NBC.
Oh, is
During
the guy
Jim and Mike
is the
special,
is the
to
guest
further
host
highlight
Kevin,
the
and
upcoming deal,
I'm
Miss
just,
Piggy made
I
a
just
surprise
didn't pay
appearance
attention.
in a skit starring her and Gonzo, following a storyline where she attempted to replace Cinderella.
Oh, young lady, will you please tell them to start the parade without me?
Oh, do not worry. I've got everything under control.
The event and special were heavily promoted throughout the year, and very few people across the country weren't aware of the iconic American theme park's anniversary by the end of the campaign. Lindquist considered the celebration a success and began thinking of other year-long events to celebrate in between the 5-year anniversaries. It wouldn't be long until he had come up with an idea. He began to wonder, what exactly do Mickey and Minnie do on January 1st of 1991 after partying non-stop for a solid year for the park's 35th birthday? It was in early 1990, as the Walt Disney Company was finishing negotiations with Jim Henson to finally acquire the
The curve's
Muppets,
a little
that a
bit
tiny spark of genius hit
longer
Jack
than
Lindquist
that.
for his next big one-year event. But to better understand how incredible this idea was, you need to first understand the man behind it. For those of you unfamiliar with the long and amazing career of Jack Lindquist, he was easily one of the greatest marketing minds to ever be employed by Disney. His career with the park started day one in 1955 as a consultant for Kelvinator, one of Disneyland's earliest sponsors. Just 2 months after the park opened, Jack received a call from management looking for recommendations for a new marketing manager in the park. Jack recommended himself, and he was soon offered the job of advertising manager for the Disneyland Resort by Walt Disney himself. He would continue to rise in the company until his retirement in 1993. During his time with Disney Parks, he pioneered promotional techniques that have since become industry standards, including things like off-site advanced ticket sales and the safe party
You know
event
what?
space
It's
for
fine.
high school
I'm
seniors
not gonna-
called Grad Night.
I'm
Jack
not gonna
also
worry
helped
about it too
pioneer one of
much.
the staples of Disney Park events, the anniversary celebration. When the Olympics were being held in Los Angeles during the summer of 1984, it was Jack who realized that the event would overlap the 30th anniversary of the park. And while a 30th anniversary wasn't typically anything to celebrate, Jack dreamed up a marketing campaign to celebrate the occasion all year long. The event led to a 3 million guest increase in park attendance that year alone.
Every 30th guest, every 300th guest, 3,000, 30,000, 300,000, and 3 million are going to win prizes, and they're really super presents everywhere from Disneyland passports to we'll be giving
Sounds
away
like
about
a fair
400 General
interview
Motors
process.
cars,
Who do you think
1985 Chevys,
is
Pontiacs,
best for the
Buicks,
job?
Oldsmobiles,
Cleared it's me.
Cadillacs
Congrats, you were hired.
during our birthday year.
But
Oh,
perhaps
yeah.
Jack Lindquist's greatest achievement for marketing theme parks was his help in creating this iconic moment.
I'm gonna go to Disney World.
I'm gonna
With
go
Jack's
to Disney
mastery of
World.
commercial tie-ins and big year-long park celebrations, he took the news of the Muppets joining the Disney Company and ran with it, cooking up one of the coolest publicity
I'm
stunts
going to
ever
Disney
conceived
World.
for Disneyland. Jack's initial pitch was simple. Mickey, Minnie, and the whole gang of Disney characters have just spent a full year celebrating the 35th anniversary of Disneyland, and obviously, they're exhausted. And what do you do when you're exhausted after working really hard? Well, you take a vacation, of course. But
The
who would
Disney
man
World.
the ship while Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Goofy, Pluto, and the whole gang were away? Well, you know who. The Muppets. In the weeks leading up to the 35th anniversary celebration drawing to a close, full-page ads would begin appearing across the country featuring a message from Kermit the Frog offering to step up and help hold down the fort while Mickey and friends took their much-needed time off. And come January 1st, 1991, when Mickey packed his bags and set sail to someplace warmer for a year, the Muppets would move into the park and, well, the typical Muppet chaos would ensue. For a full year, Disneyland would be taken over completely by the Muppets, and they would turn the place upside down. In total, the year-long Muppet Takeover event would consist of 8 major changes to the park. First, the Muppets would take over the park's entrance marquee, modifying it with their own charming way with a makeshift sign overlay covering the word Disney, leaving it to read Muppetland. Then, just inside the gates, the iconic Mickey Mouse flower bed, just below the train station, would be ripped out and replaced by an equally large Kermit. Inside Main Street, the iconic Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln would be replaced by the newly produced Muppet Vision 3D, which had just opened in Disney World's MGM Studios park the year prior. Over in New Orleans Square, Animal would be set loose inside Pirates of the Caribbean, where he would chase the damsels in distress found in the pillaged town scene. Back in Fantasyland, Miss Piggy would take over its
Imagine
small
ripping
world,
out hundreds of flowers for
Cleopatra and her
advertising.
Egyptian throne. Finally, and perhaps the most notable change supposed to happen during the Muppet Takeover, the Matterhorn would be repainted Kermit green from top to bottom. But the changes didn't just stop at modifying existing attractions. The park would also feature 2 brand new parades. Here Come the Muppets parade would feature approximately 10 oversized inflatable balloon versions of the Muppets being rolled down Main Street on floats similar to the Party Gras parade that ran for the 35th anniversary, likely reusing a majority of the already made and rigged float bases with new character balloons retrofitted on each. The second parade, the Muppet All-Star Motorcade, would be a much more intimate experience when compared to the massive balloon floats in the Here Come the Muppets parade. Here, the Muppets themselves would be in various vehicles and would drive through the park singing live, offering a real up-close moment with each of the actual puppeteered characters, something never seen before. Then, finally, at the end of the year-long takeover, all evidence of the Muppets have ever been in the park would be removed. Animatronics would be taken down, parades packed away, Matterhorn repainted back to its original color, except for the Muppet Visions 3D, which would have found a new, pseudo-temporary home in the Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln space. The event would have been crazy and ambitious, to say the least. It's difficult to imagine a Disney park without Mickey in it, but the concept's uniqueness was a bit of corporate synergy that would have been too good to pass up. It's also important to note that the Muppets were a much more lucrative property in the late 80s and early 90s than they currently are today, so the publicity stunt would have most likely excited a majority of audiences. Plus, Muppetland would have concreted the Muppets as part of the Disney family. Such a major event would have made it known that the Muppets had a new home, and Disney had a new imaginative ally with Jim Henson on board. The event would finally end on New Year's Eve of 1991, where Mickey
I'm
and
just
Minnie
thinking
would
about
return as
how
special
much of
guests,
a
kicking
chore it
off
would
the
be to
next
get all
year-long
the
event that
city
would lead up to
permitting
the
or
opening of the
the
newest
sign
land,
change like that.
Mickey's Toontown.
Something
But
makes me
sadly,
mad.
the ending to this
Such a
story
waste of
isn't as fun as
resources.
its beginnings.
Well, that's
On May 16th, 1990,
that's Disney.
the sudden and unexpected passing of Jim Henson changed everything.
No.
The world mourned the death of a creative genius, and with Jim gone, the deal that was so close to being completed suddenly hit a major
Wrong
roadblock.
button.
The Henson family, dealing with the mixed emotions of grief, decided to pull back from the merger, despite Disney and its lawyers pressuring them to move forward. Imagineers continued to move forward with the plans to retrofit the Lincoln Theater into the new Muppet experience, and teams continued to work on the various Muppetland takeover events. But ultimately, the deal did not work out. By this point in the process, a significant amount of time and money had been put into developing and producing Muppet content for the parks, particularly the new Muppet
Disney
Vision
don't care.
3D attraction. Disney was determined
Disney
to get
just
some
want
sort of
that
rights
Muppet
and access
money.
to the Muppet brand, and after 6 months of lengthy court battles and tons of bad publicity on both parts, an out-of-court settlement was eventually reached. The Disney company was left with an extremely limited and short 18-month contract for the Muppets in the park, and after 18 months, they would have to renegotiate. The contract only allowed them to use Muppets in the 3D attraction, as well as a stage show in MGM Studios titled Here Come the Muppets, a nod to the previously canceled parade. Jack Lindquist was forced to abandon his plan to promote the park with the Muppets for a full year, but he quickly rebounded with a new cross-promotion with baseball cards. Remember, it was a much, much different time. The Muppets
Yay,
property would
baseball
eventually be sold off to a
cards.
German television company, which quickly suffered a stock collapse, forcing them to sell the Muppets back to the Henson family for a significantly smaller sum of money. Years later, in 2004, the Henson family would finally agree to sell the Muppets to Disney, where they continue to live on today in various forms throughout the park. And while we might never
I am
see the
happy
Muppets
that
take over
Muppets are still
Disneyland,
around.
at least they are still producing
I
fun
love
new
the
content with the
Muppets.
company today.
Great moments in history, the ride of Paul Revere. Great moments in history, you saw it all right here.
Hey Dan, I'm back. How was the channel while I was gone?
It's not
It was
Kevin.
great. I learned so
Dane.
much. For instance, did you know that Sammy Davis Jr. died on the same day as Jim Henson?
No, I had no idea. How many candles did you sell?
I hate
Dang
the
it,
paint
I forgot
bucket.
the advertisement.
The paint bucket is garbage. Imagine how much bigger they would have been if they didn't get left to wallow for like decades. Yeah. Is that the end of the video? It's a short video. Here we go.
Doing, boss? I'm trying to get the word out about my brand since you can't build me a website, Cody. Buy my product! But boss, I signed us up for Squarespace.
Since Jewel had become the first employee of the now famous puppeteer Jim Henson. He had begun work on Sam and Friends in Maryland on WRC-TV for the last few months of its run. Immediately afterwards, Jewel followed Henson and his family to New York City, helping him build his team of puppeteers and beginning his work as Henson's go-to writer, penning the Tinkerty pilots and the script for The Great Santa Claus Switch. In 1969, Jerry and Susan informed Jim that they would be moving out to Los Angeles to continue his writing career. Jim wished him well, and the two continued to work together, albeit remotely. Jewel would help write for Sesame Street, the Tales from Muppetland specials, and the first pilot for Jim's Muppet Show, The Muppets Valentine Show. However, Jewel would not help write for Jim's 1975 pilot, The Muppet Show Sex and Violence, and the lack of his voice was apparent. Jewel was always praised for his grip on character and structure, two things that the Sex and Violence pilot were clearly missing. In late 1975, Jewel's phone rang. On the other end was Jim Henson, holding a list of talking points to break the good and bad news to his friend. The good news was that Jim had finally been greenlit for a weekly Muppet Show. The bad news was that one of the conditions was that Jewel could not be head writer, as a more experienced comedy writer was to be given the title in order to ease the minds of the studio. Jewel agreed to write for the show without the head position. This surely meant that he would have to move back to New York. But Jim had one more piece of news. The show wasn't shooting in New York, or even Los Angeles. Jim was asking Jerry to follow him to England.
The magic wand
Hello
and
there.
the pink
My name is
bucket
Jim Henson.
might as
I'm
well
a
not even
puppeteer.
be in here.
I'm called a puppeteer
They
because
don't
I
work.
work with puppets.
Okay, you're gonna love this story. Greatest story in the world.
It's time to light the lights. It's time to get things started on the Muppet Show tonight. It's time to put on makeup. It's time to dress up right. It's time to start the music on the Muppet Show tonight. This is what we call the Muppet Show.
Jack Burns was a comedian in the truest of senses. He had been a member of the Second City improv troupe, and he had formed two successful comedy duos, one with George Carlin and another with Avery Schreiber. He had acted in a number of television shows, and he had written for the Laugh-In-inspired variety show Hee Haw. In producer Lord Lou Grade's mind, he was the perfect type of head writer for The Muppet Show. In November of 1975, developmental meetings between Burns, Jewel, and Henson were held. The first thing to nail down was the premise and format. The Muppet Valentine Show and The Muppet Show Sex and Violence had a few similarities that they could draw from. For one, they were both variety shows with musical numbers and short skits. This is the format in which the Muppets thrived, but the series would need a premise that helped hold these segments together. The Muppets Valentine Show was too heavy on its specific story to be replicated.
I should have waited until I colored this in
The Muppet Show Sex and
copy
Violence needed less skits and more character.
So I only have
Another
to do it
similarity
once.
between the two specials was the show within a show format. In The Muppets Valentine Show, Wally was writing the screenplay. In The Muppet Show Sex and Violence, Nigel and friends were putting on a pageant. The concept that emerged from the brainstorming sessions was a group of Muppets attempting to put on a vaudeville show in an old theater. The concept was nothing groundbreaking, and the team wasn't 100% confident in the idea. One positive of the format was the ability to bring on a human guest star for each episode. Mia Farrow's role in the Muppet Valentine special seemed to prove that the audience needed a human to ground the show, or at the very least, give the Muppets something to play off of. On top of this, a list of celebrity guest stars would help sell the show to more stations. The idea was great, but the execution would be difficult. Jim's agent, Bernie Brillstein, was tasked with finding celebrities that would be okay with traveling to London for a week to shoot a syndicated puppet show that didn't pay that well, which, if you can believe it, many declined. Brillstein had to resort to calling in favors from friends and clients, and he was able to secure dancer Juliet Prowse and actress Connie Stevens for the show's 2 pilot episodes. These episodes would be filmed, edited, and shopped around to any US stations that would be willing to purchase the syndication rights to air the show. It was convoluted, backwards, and a huge risk, but Grade believed in Jim and the Muppets, and he was giving them a huge opportunity. With Brillstein, Jewel, Burns, and Henson's producer, David Lazer, on board, Jim needed to assemble the rest of his team. His regular puppeteering team, including Frank Oz, Dave Goles, and Richard Hunt, would make the trip overseas.
See what happens
Unfortunately, performer Jerry Nelson would not be able to travel for the filming of the pilot episodes. Henson would bring 2 more performers he had worked with, John Lovelady and Aaron Oskar. Jim would also bring
That
another
works.
puppeteer out with him, his wife Jane. Jane, Jim's first performing partner,
That
had
fills in
focused on
fine.
raising their family, which had grown to 5
Why
children,
won't these fill
Lisa,
in?
Brian, Cheryl, John, and Heather. She was still able to find time to help Jim when he needed it, providing additional puppeteering on many projects,
Except for
often
up
going
there.
uncredited. Jim and Jane's relationship had become strained over the past few years. Jim's hectic schedule was not easy to deal with, and although he made time for his family, he was definitely torn between 2 worlds. Communication was another issue between Jim and Jane. Jim's soft, gentle nature, which his friends and coworkers admired, was not helpful in serious conversations pertaining to the family or their relationship. Despite the 2 growing apart, Jane remained an essential asset of the Muppets. For one, she had a sharp eye for talent, and Jane would help Jim in recruiting puppeteers. Jane was also one of the few people that could tell Jim the truth about his work, even if it wasn't positive. Jim didn't take criticism exceedingly well, and Jane was one of the few people he trusted for an honest opinion. Another was Frank Oz, who with his direct and aggressive nature, had no issue in telling Jim how he felt. It was this dichotomy that made their friendship work, and the juxtaposition that had created Bert and Ernie, 2 of the most popular Muppet characters. Even with a full team of puppeteers, writers, and crew from Grade's Elstree Studios, there were still a lot of frogs and dogs and bears and chickens and whatevers that needed to be brought onto the show. Many characters from previous specials would be brought back as performers or workers on the show within a show. The Swedish Chef, performed by Henson with hands now puppeteered by Oz, would perform as zany cooking demonstrations. George the Janitor, performed by Oz, would be the show's janitor. Mildred, who was passed between performers, was added to various sketches despite not having a role in the show. Sam Eagle would return as the show's morally upright censor and fine art curator. The full Electric Mayhem Band would be the house band, and many of the members would perform in the orchestra. Crazy Harry, performed by Lovelady, would be the show's unpredictable pyrotechnics expert, and the
Well,
elderly
I'm getting
gentleman
kind
from
of
Sex and
tired.
Violence,
We've been
Statler
going,
Waldorf, performed by
I
Richard
don't know how
Hart and
long
Henson
because OBS
respectively,
crashed
would
and
give
I
a
had to
seat in the
restart.
theater's balcony, where they would
I
comment on
think
the
it's been
show
like
and heckle the cast.
5-ish hours,
I
5.5 hours
love it.
maybe. I don't know.
Of course he loves it. He's
But
the kind of guy
I
who
think
plants poison ivy.
I think we're gonna go raid somebody.
Other Muppets such as Sweetums and the cast of Frogs, Pigs, Chickens, Frackles, and the interchangeable Muppet Whatnots would be used as needed. Since Jim and
we're
his
gonna
team
go
had been
raid
constantly
someone.
appearing on variety shows performing skits for nearly 2 decades, the Muppets already had a few acts to integrate into the show. A skit named Menomina, which Jim had first
Let
used
us
for
see
Sesame
who's
Street in
online for us to
1969,
go see.
had been evolving for over 6 years. The skit featured a nonsense song originally written for an Italian sex documentary that just so happened to be extremely catchy.
This was written for a what?
Muppets already had a few acts to integrate into the show. A skit named Menomina, which Jim had first used for Sesame Street in 1969, had been evolving for over 6 years. The skit featured a nonsense song originally written for an Italian sex documentary that just so happened to be extremely catchy.
This was written for an Italian sex documentary?
New or evolved Muppets would be created for the 2 pilots, including...
Excuse me? Phenomena was supposed to be for an Italian sex documentary? What? Huh? How? Alright, who are we gonna read? Doxy? We gonna read Doxy or DG? Or Congo? Doncho? Mini? Oh, we could read. Well, they're playing Fortnite. I don't want to watch Fortnite. I want to read Long Game, but I don't want to see Fortnite. You could read Cult of Benny with Gaming Goblin and Gary.
Hi.
Yeah. Yeah, we go see them. High spell. Cult of Men. Hey, it works. Okay, I spelled it right. All right, everybody, thank you so much for coming to the stream today. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for the raids and the follows. If you have my emotes from being subscribed, or you would like to use your channel points to unlock the emote, you can copy that first message for me. Otherwise, you can copy the second one. I would really appreciate it if you participate in the raid. You can also join my Discord. It's pretty low key right now. Not a whole lot going on, but I want to get it more active. You'll get pings when I go live. Subscribers get previews of stuff coming up to stream. I'll probably be posting these things in there soon. I need to make my schedule. Oh, I should have worked on that on stream. But I'll make my schedule later tonight, and then I'll post it on Twitter and in the Discord. And keep an eye out. And yeah, keep an eye out for my schedule on Twitter, or join the Discord to see it. And I hope you all have a great night and rest of your weekend. Oh, bye-bye.